Okay. We have a majority of our attendees signed in, so I think we can go ahead and get started. Um, Thank you for joining everyone today. I'm really looking forward to discussing the Metasearch funnel with you and key metrics you can hone in on to understand how your Metasearch campaigns are performing and metrics that can help you optimize your Metasearch production to increase direct revenue. Um, so to kind of explain the topic today, your Metasearch listing acts as a mini funnel within the broader Metasearch ecosystem. So by tracking and optimizing key metrics in the funnel, you can boost your advertising performance and drive more direct bookings. My name's Kenyon Cotton. I'm your presenter today. I'm the product director here at Metadesk. And real quickly, we'll go over the agenda for today. So before we dive into the meat and potatoes, I'm going to touch on what Metasearch is exactly. I find myself having these conversations frequently, and sometimes when you talk about Metasearch, it can be a broad topic. So we'll kind of be sure to clarify exactly what we're referring to. Then we'll talk about the metrics, the Metasearch funnel, why each of them are important, and sort of what they indicate if you're seeing a low number versus a high number, and how you can use those to understand how to optimize funnel performance. We'll touch on why Metasearch is important at all. And this presentation is relatively short, which I'm sure most of you will appreciate. So we'll have plenty of time for Q&A at the end. So with that, let's go ahead and just jump right in. So what is Metasearch exactly? More often than not, when we refer to Metasearch conversationally or working with a customer, we're really referring to Google Hotel Ads. And that's because Google Hotel Ads dominate in terms of total impressions and revenue production in the Metasearch space. Some other channels that are also powered by Metasearch would be TripAdvisor, Trivago, Kayak, Skyscanner, WeGo, and a whole host of others that are more fringe. Bing, I should mention as well. But more often than not, most hoteliers are focused on Google Hotel Ads, again, because a majority of the impressions and activity is happening there. So if you've ever searched for anything hotel centric, any search that includes the word hotel or lodging or accommodations in Google, you're presented with this module on screen. That is Metasearch. Um, Usually it would be those keywords included with a market that they're searching, or a city, a geographic area, of course. So if you click in, you can see, you go all the way in from the search engine ranking page to the Metasearch module. And to be clear, what Metasearch is an aggregator, aggregator of rate and inventory from a variety of channels. Now it's interesting where this came from is really user behavior. So any hoteliers who were on the presentation today who were marketing hotels before Metasearch, you might recall it was really common for users to search around different sites. They might have honed in on your property and they're interested. It meets their needs. They like the location, but then they want to see if maybe they could find a better rate somewhere. So they would go and check Expedia. They would go and check Orbitz. Remember Orbitz? They go check Travelocity. Really, just kind of seeing if they could find a better rate somewhere and save a few bucks. This user behavior led Google and others to just sort of facilitate that within the customer research journey, and Metasearch came about. So now when you click through to an individual property within Metasearch, you're presented not only with the property's direct channel and their rate, but the rates of all the OTAs alongside the direct channel. And so it's important to understand the purpose of Metasearch is to compete with OTAs, to increase direct revenue. In that moment of decision, they've honed in on your property. It meets their needs. They like what you have to offer. An OTA could be doing something that I would consider unscrupulous, like offering a better rate that's unauthorized or any number of things. So there's a lot of things you can do within Metasearch to increase direct revenue, but it's important to understand the core function. The point of all of this is to compete with OTAs and increase direct revenue. Now on this slide, you can see what we're looking at here. We're not clicked into an individual listing or an individual property. This is hotels presented at the market level This is hotels in Austin we're looking at. So a lot of times when I'm working with hoteliers, I get asked how to increase their sort within the general rankings of a given market. Um, so to understand where Google decides to place you and present you to any given potential guest, you need to understand it's mostly reliant upon user behavior and search history. So to explain that, let's say I've been researching pet-friendly hotels for the last few weeks in Austin, trying to find which hotel I want, and your hotel is not pet-friendly. You're probably not going to rank very high when I'm looking at hotels in the Austin area. Or conversely, maybe I'm like a budget shopper. I'm looking for deals. I'm searching things like best rate, cheapest hotels in Austin, roadside motels, hotels for under 50 bucks a night. And you are a luxury $500 per night hotel. Google's not going to show that product to me. So when you this may have crossed your mind before. When you're looking at the market level within Metasearch, you're wondering how you rank higher. Just know we have to put some trust into the Google algorithm and their ability to connect the right products with the right consumers. And in our case, the right potential guests. So user behavior, search history, that's the biggest factor. But there are some factors that can help where you rank in that sort when it is the correct consumer searching your hotel. Maybe you are pet friendly and you are luxury, and that's what I've been searching. At that point, you want to focus on some fundamentals within Metasearch. The two big ones are price parity and price accuracy. Price parity is having the same rate or even a better rate than the OTAs. When OTAs have a better rate, Google will penalize the listing. So it's important to continually focus on price parity. Here at Metadesk, we continually help our customers focus on parity and maintain parity as one way we work to ensure healthy Metasearch production in terms of revenue. The other one is price accuracy. So that means when they click on a price, when they hit the booking engine, they should see the same price. If they click on 350 and they hit the booking engine and it's 474, it's going to cause confusion and they bounce. So that's something that would affect conversion percentage. But those types of things, Google polices, even penalizes when they detect accuracy not being attained. So it's important to focus on that as well. There's also some sort of like a quality score, for lack of a better term. If you're familiar with quality score from paid search, it's very similar within Metasearch. So recent conversion percentage, production recently, things like reviews and sentiment, all of that matters as well in terms of where you rank when it's a customer that makes sense for your hotel product. And so then it's important to understand production overall increases exposure. There's a multiplier effect here. So as you increase your Metasearch production, number one, you're improving those signals like conversion percentage and production that help your ranking. And then also improving the rate that you get reviews, which over time increases your star rating. So that's one more reason to focus on Metasearch and focus on increasing direct revenue production through this channel. So now I'm going to touch on the individual listing. So from the market search level, a potential guest will click on an individual hotel, hopefully yours. And then there's a number of things going on in the listing that I wanted to touch on real quickly. The first is Google offers a number of ways to apply deal badging to your rate. In the past, it was mainly just developing a promo, making it available through Metasearch, and it showed. And that would result in things like slash-through pricing and badging. Recently, they've deployed some data logic. So you can see the first one here, less than similar. What that means is 15% less than the median price of 5 nearby hotels that Google is sort of determining to be your comp set. So if you ever drop rate, hopefully you don't need to often, but sometimes I understand that's a necessary evil in the space. When you drop rate more than 15%, Google will pick that up and apply this deal badge if it's 50% of nearby hotels. Less than usual is another one they use. That means 15% of the median public rate over the last year. So they're monitoring your rate and they're calculating averages and median. So when they detect that type of drop, they'll apply that deal badge automatically. And then they still have the slash-through pricing and deal badges available when you do channel a promo to Meta search. So 15% discount promo results in deal. A promo that's 25% or more results in great deal, which you can see in the example on the screen. There's also the opportunity to add text callouts to your listing. If we look at Enchantment Resort here, we can see free cancellation until September 18th, 2 guests. That is the text callout. Now, this one happens to be pulled from the policy information within their booking engine. Metasearch requires that tech connection to your booking engine so you can publish rates and inventory. And so they also pull in policy data and serve that where they think it's valuable. Along with that, you're able to load your own text callouts. Now, once you load these, Google will serve those at their discretion to certain customers. It's very similar to the customer behavior and search history concept we were talking about a moment ago. So if I've been searching pet-friendly hotels for 2 weeks, you have a pet-friendly call out loaded, Google might show that to me in an attempt to compel a click and a conversion. So we work with our customers to understand call outs that are working in general in the space. We have data that can kind of show impression percentages and click-through percentages, but then also it makes sense for you to build those around the known demand drivers for your property, the things that you know compel guests to book with you versus a competitor. So it's kind of a fundamental. Make sure you get those loaded up. Google will serve those to the correct people. You'll also notice heavy OTA presence. Priceline's in the #1 spot, and that's something we're going to touch on a little bit later. When you're in the #1 spot in Metasearch, it's a more expensive click, so it takes more budget, but you get more real estate. You'll also notice the OTAs have some bells and whistles that individual properties do not, like this tag, iconography. So it's important to understand that sometimes that's a strategy, making sure your listing is in the #1 spot. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to do that. I also want to mention Metasearch ad. Your Metasearch ad is the placement up top. And then down below, we call that the organic listing. And once upon a time, through Metasearch, the organic listing would always be there, whether you were running a campaign or not, whether you had budget during that day or not, it would be there regardless. Within the last maybe 6 to 8 months, that has changed. Google now will also penalize the listing by suppressing the organic listing if a property is in violation of some of their policies like parity or accuracy. So it's not necessarily always there. And then I mentioned this a moment ago. It's important to understand Metasearch requires live rates and inventory from your booking engine or PMS. So there's a tech connection established. So it's always important to understand that. Sometimes that's relevant as you're analyzing performance or making decisions within Metasearch. Also, all of the content you see, amenities, names, images, things like that on your listing, that all comes from your GMB, your Google My Business profile. We typically don't have access to that for our customers. Your Metasearch provider probably doesn't as well. But if you're ever wondering, why this photo? Why is our newest photo not loaded? Why are we missing this amenity? You'll be able to edit those things through your Google My Business profile. If you're unfamiliar with that, talk to your marketing team. They probably have heard of it, and they probably have access. Okay, so that was kind of a brief rundown. Some foundational understanding for what Metasearch is. Now I'm going to jump into the Metasearch funnel, the reason we are all here. Here's the funnel as we display it to our customers. This is actually a new data visualization that we're launching within a portal this month. It should be launching within the next few weeks, actually. So if you end up signing with Metasearch, you may experience the new portal that's very nice. You may never experience the old portal, but just trust me, the new one's a lot better. So if you ever end up working with us, you'll get to utilize this data visualization, which is the Metasearch funnel. So this is how we view the funnel for our clients. So eligible impressions. Actually, let's just kind of move forward through the presentation. The first one to touch on is eligible impressions. That's the top of the funnel when you're thinking about the Metasearch funnel. So eligible impressions are the total amount of traffic to your Metasearch listing, whether there's an ad there or not. That's why we call it eligible impressions. And the reason it matters is it kind of helps you gauge market demand. So a big drop, like let's say month over month in eligible impressions, could mean that market demand is dropping. or that your hotel is receiving less traffic in general. So if you do see a drop in eligible impressions, there's a few things you can do. Number one, look at if you're investing in upper funnel advertising. Um, it's important that you're kind of investing in the full funnel, the full customer journey through your marketing efforts. So it may make sense to invest in upper to mid funnel advertising initiatives like social media advertising, things that create demand for your product or create awareness of your product. The other thing you can do is consider PPA ads, which are property promotion ads. This is an ad product within Metasearch that allows you to advertise at the market level before they are potentially aware of your property. This is a very popular ad product for some of the really large brands, and therefore there's a lot of competition in that space. So we see really high CPCs, $8 to $10, in fact. But it can make sense for the right hotel. If you feel like you're not getting a lot of total eligible impressions, this may be one way to sort of hack the system and purchase some more impressions for your listing. It also makes sense for, we work with properties who are launching in a new market, a new hotel product. You want to increase awareness. That's one good way to purchase awareness of your new product, things like that. Now, for a benchmark, it's really impossible to benchmark this particular stat. It's more of a data point you want to keep an eye on long term. So if you see precipitous drops or a decline over time, that may prompt you to take action and try to figure out what's going on. There's other things that could impact it too. Let's say, 15 new hotels were built and entered your market, and you saw a correlation with your eligible impressions dropping. It may make sense to increase your investment in upper funnel activities, things like that. The next data point we're going to touch on is impression share. We're going to skip over total impressions because impression share represents the percentage of eligible impressions you had an ad present for, and that gives you total impressions. So again, that's the percentage of times your ad appears when there's an impression present. So your ad is present for the traffic you're receiving. And this is really a useful stat because it gives you a quick snapshot of whether your ad is showing up. A low impression share can be a signal for things like budget issues. If you're seeing like a ridiculously low impression share number, like 20%, you may need more budget. There's a lot of demand for your product. There's a lot of traffic coming to your listing. The OTAs are present up top prominently, but your ad is not. So you may want to consider adding more budget. It can also be a price parity or accuracy issue because Google penalizes the listing by suppressing impressions. They can do that in a few ways: suppress the ad outright. They can also increase CPCs that make your budget not go as long. So keeping an eye on that number is really easy way to kind of gauge the health of your Metasearch campaign. Easy way to keep an eye on it. If your Metasearch provider isn't providing that data point, I recommend you talk with them, request that data, and if they don't have it available, something to consider when choosing your Metasearch advertising partner. Conversely, if you're hitting 100% consistently with a healthy return number, that may mean that potentially it would make sense to purchase more impressions like we were talking about a moment ago. That's another scenario where you may want to go upper funnel and make some investments because you're maxing out, you're like 98, 99, 90% impression share. So you're present for all the traffic and all the other metrics look good. At that point, you may want to purchase additional traffic. For a benchmark, we consider anything above 60% good. Below that is not necessarily a red flag. When it gets really low, I would say 20s, 30s, teens, that's a red flag. But below 60, we do a deep dive and try to figure out why and try to figure out how to increase that number. Most successful campaigns we manage are in the 80s to mid 90s to high 90s. Now, the next metric I want to cover is click-through rate. This is the percentage of clicks your ad receives relative to its total impressions. So a low CTR can be an immediate signal or flag that OTAs are capturing more clicks than you want. And to improve CTR, click-through rate, sorry, 9 times out of 10, it's due to parity. If OTAs have a better rate, there goes your click. A lot of brand loyalty and affinity can go out the window for, $50 per night better rate. So that's another reason we continually work with our customers to ensure they're achieving price parity. Some other things you can do to increase CTR is develop promos and maybe review your text callouts. We looked at this a moment ago on the listing. OTAs use techniques like slash through pricing, loyalty programs. They have things that individual hotels do not, like the iconography, tagging, etc. Most of that's available when they're in the first position. So it might make sense for you to talk with your provider and see if it makes sense for you to bid to be in the first position, simply to bump them out so they have less of those tools available to them. Also, make sure if you don't have a promotion channel through Meta, it makes sense to maybe develop one, or maybe make sure some of your publicly available promos are channeled to Meta so they show up there. I work with a lot of hoteliers who, unbeknownst to them, their promos aren't displaying there because there was some sort of function or they needed to take action within their booking engine to make them appear through Meta. So always be looking at that. When you develop a public promo, make sure it's showing through Meta. It can oftentimes be overlooked there. So for a benchmark, I would, this varies wildly by hotel type and market as well. But as a rule of thumb, I'd say anything above 3% is really good. Below that, we would do deep dive and deploy optimization techniques and work with our customers to figure out ways to bring that number up. And the last metric we're going to discuss is conversion percentage. Conversion rate, I'm sure most folks on the call understand. Conversion rate measures the percentage of clicks to your booking engine that result in a booking. And this is a very important one. At this stage, potential guests, they've shown strong intent. They've shown they like your property, and they're really showing buying signals by clicking through, looking at dates, etc. Low conversion rates often caused by a few things. First, price accuracy issues. If they click on a number, they get to your booking engine and it's larger, that can be a problem. They bounce. Or if it's not easy to find, they could also bounce. Maybe it's there, but it's down on the page. They have to scroll. That's also an issue. And also, this is kind of a fundamental for optimizing booking engines in general. But if there can be too many rates and promos and options and even room types, some of that can be overwhelming and result in analysis paralysis. There's an old saying in sales, really, that a confused mind does nothing. So there's a lot to consider. They might bounce and, plan to make the reservation on a different day. And at that point, you risk losing them to another channel or even another property. So it's always good to once in a while check your booking engine experience, make sure it's simple, easy to understand, not too many promos or rates or options. Those things are very important for optimizing conversion percentage. As a benchmark, we aim for a conversion rate above 4%. A lower rate than that isn't necessarily a red flag, but there's always there would be room for improvement and something we would look at closely with our customers to help figure that out. So that's it for the funnel optimization portion of the presentation. Real quickly, I want to touch on why Metasearch is important at all. So again, I just kind of want to hammer this point home. It's the #1 battleground to compete with OTAs for direct bookings. OTAs have tremendous brand recognition globally. They're deploying literally billions in ad spend yearly in advertising in various forms in an attempt to compel a reservation to come through them. So if you're focused on increasing direct revenue, if that's important to you, Metasearch is your best tool to do that, your most cost-efficient tool to do that as well. Another reason it's important, it's very, very bottom of funnel. Oftentimes, it's the actual last click. So increasing performance there will increase the performance of all your upper funnel activities and various marketing and advertising initiatives. And we touched on this earlier, increasing production through your Metasearch listing increases your prominence within your market searches. So there's a multiplier effect there as well. So that can kind of help you in a number of ways. So thank you so much for listening to this presentation. I am from Metadesk. Quick plug on Metadesk on what we do. We provide managed Metasearch advertising. We provide a suite of really useful tools like on-demand reporting and insights in an easy-to-use platform. And also we offer no out-of-pocket expense. Our most popular pricing model is a variable rate commission paper stay pricing model where we fund the media. So you could sign up, we fund the budget, which can be advantageous We talk to a lot of hoteliers who might have thrown an arbitrary number at their Metasearch advertising and potentially be underfunded. So there's surplus demand in your market. With the paper stay pricing, we fund the media. So as long as reservations are occurring, we keep spending. So that's very convenient for a lot of properties. Um, um, Thank you for indulging my quick plug. And now we can open it up to any questions you might have. You're free to come off of mute for those questions or even just drop